You all know that this is the International Day of the Woman. And so to be able to feature not only all of these brave women that were the stars and the main force in the time of the butterflies, one of our favorite books that I know many of you have read here at Oakland Catholic, now it is my great honor to acknowledge that we have within our midst, in our presence, Minerva's daughter, as some of you have referred to her as the cool one. We now have with us Minou Tavarez Mirabal, and I would like you to give her a very warm welcome to our stage.
And but you know the story or the history, because we're talking about history, and you know also a little bit about my country, the Dominican Republic, because this history of the Mirabal sisters is in great part the history of the Dominican Republic, and is also related to a date, which is, there are two important dates related to women in the international arena, and this is one of them, and the other one is the International Day to fight for the end of violence against women. And that day is the November 25th, which is the date that my mother and my aunts were assassinated by Trujillo, by his direct order, and the United Nations decided in 1999 to honor them and to use their example, their history, to create consciousness. Sorry, you have to forgive me, my English. I'm trying my best. So to honor their memory and to use their example to end the violence our societies still do to harm women in the world. And it's not a small problem, it's a huge one. We are talking about countries like these, where violence exists and expresses every day, where there is a huge number of women that lose, that are killed in the name of love, which is the worst of the violences. Or in my country, like every year, we don't know exactly, because these cifras, how do you say it?
Statistics.
Stats. Are on their
like a census, and
you never know. Like, you know, there is a woman that gets to the hospital because she was wounded by her husband or lover or whatever, and then she stayed like 3 weeks in the hospital, and then she died because she had an infection. So that girl doesn't appear in the statistics, but she didn't die of an infection or something. She died because she was killed. But this is what we have. In fact, I was reading some statistics in Spain that they published 2 or 3 days ago, and they say that in the last 15 years, they have lost 1984 women because of violence, victims of violence against women. That's much more, over a century more, than the victims of the terrorist group called ETA in its whole history. But we talk about terrorism and all that, and we do not talk about this terrorism that occurs in our houses, in our homes. But what I want to tell you is that even the United Nations decided to use the history of the Mirabal sisters in order to create conscience against this tragedy that we are living in the world. They were not exactly victims of gender violence. They were victims of political violence. They were assassinated, they were killed, they were tortured because they were political activists. Because they decided to take action, they decided to participate. They said no more. They say that this is enough. And that's why they were killed. They were imprisoned, they lost everything they had. Because they said no. They said, we have a commitment. We have to fight for what we believe in, for our vision, for our principles, for our wishes, for our loves, for our happiness. Because this is what it is about, happiness. That's what we want in life. The sick of the search and the seek for happiness. You want to be happy, but you cannot be happy in a world that is unfair, where you do not have assured the elemental rights, when you do not feel sure in your houses or in your streets. It's not possible, because we are part of a collectivity. We are part of a world. We are part of a country. And we are talking about rights, and rights exist only in democracies. You need democracies to have rights, because the rights exist because they are related to the states in where people live. It's an expression of citizenship. In a dictatorship, you do not have rights. And when we talk about women, we're talking about rights. Women's rights. So I see that in the last maybe 4 years, these issues, these topics have become very important. A lot of people talk about it before, but there were in these specialized magazines and books, and feminists were talking about that. But now you see that everybody's talking about, maybe because of the Me Too movement and all that. So I think the awareness of the problem, the awareness of the need of having a more just and fair world, which is related to the women's right, is popular now, because it entered the world of Hollywood. But this happens at the same time in a world that is really threatened, democracies that have been threatened. that are questioned, that are put in danger. And I think this rise of the fight for women's rights, which is being very successful, like in the last time we are talking about this, and nadie se atreve, nobody dares to contradict, to say no. I mean, nobody dares nowadays to say, oh, you're talking about something that is not true, or deny those rights. But it's happening, and it cannot be successful if we let that our democracies are threatened, weakened. Did I say it well?
Yep.
Weakened?
Mm-hmm.
We cannot. This is not going to be successful if the surroundings are the way it looks they're going to be. This is why I say that the success isn't it's apparently. It is a success because as many people know about, many people is conscious, many people, more every day, more people is aware of. You have to have, to have a world composed by men and women, almost equally in its composition. The rights, the fights have to be shared in the same, help me, in the same,
Same way?
in the same, yeah, and with the same responsibility, and it is not. Think politics. Women in this country and in the world are half of the population. How many congresswomen do you have in Congress in the United States? It's been a great change in the last elections, but it's still really, really a shame, because it reflects, it's not something related to capacity, because it's not. Men are not more capable of women, as we know. And nobody dares to discuss that, to deny that. So why is it? Why this happened? Why there are 3 times more men in Congress than women? More than 3 times. Here, I think it's really far away from other countries, the United States, let me tell you. Far away. We have 28% women in the House of Representatives in the Dominican Republic, and the rate in Latin America is over 20, but under 20 in the States. Why is that? Don't we have thoughts, values, work to give? Don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we have this big commitment to participate, to build democracies, real democracies, with our participation, with our aportes, our contributions. We have this commitment, and I think maybe this is the hope that the world can have.
And going along with that, I think it's really important how your mother, how your mothers had that commitment and the strength to participate and the strength to say no and the strength to go for something to change, right?
Okay, thank you. I think Wayne wants me to go to the history.
Go to the book a little bit.
He wants me to go to the book, and maybe I think the book is important, and I think the history is important, but I think in a date like this one, we have to make a reflection on where we are, and we have to know that. And I think Minerva Mirabal and her sisters fought for a better world, and they were not feminists. It wasn't something common in that time. In the time of my mother, I guess she never heard of the word feminism. I suppose she never did. But I think in this time, if she were alive, she would be a feminist. No doubt about it. And so she fought for what she believed in. She participated, no matter what danger was involved in her decision. Nothing could stop her. My grandmother used to tell her, Minerva, they're going to kill you. He's going to kill you. You know he's going to kill you. Somebody came and told me, he said somewhere that he hates you, that you are the problem, the most important problem that he has in this country. So be careful. Stop. Don't do that. And what did she answer? She said, if he kills me, I will, how do you say? Yo sacaré los brazos de la tumba.
Yeah, reach my arms out from the tomb.
Because we're talking about her right here in Pittsburgh, in a school, with you, talking about what she did, talking about the inspiration that she is capable of giving us, remembering her, and knowing very, very well in this history who are, as you have at the entrance of this hall, who in this are the heroes and who are the villains. And this is it. You always have the opportunity, you always have the possibility to decide to make the difference. And you have it every day. And you have to stand for it every day, because that's what it is. Doing the right thing in the right moment at the right place. And sometimes the right place is the school or the family or with a group of friends. And this is how we grow. And maybe we're talking about very intimate things and very intimate learnings. But this is what I can share with you. I'm really touched because I lost my mother and my father, and they decided to fight for the country, for the human rights, for democracy. And sometimes people ask me, what do you feel? Because you were, like, if they tell me, you are not important for you. Or they don't say it like that, but it's what it's behind the question, you know. Like, oh, how do you feel? Because they knew that you were going to be orphans, and even that they decided to. But there was a response in one of the sentences that you read, they said, we don't want our children to grow in a system, in a country like this. This is not a place to live. This is not a place where you can be happy, because you cannot be happy if your surroundings are like a tyranny. You cannot be happy if something wrong is occurring just beside you, because you're not alone. We live in a society and we have all the responsibility to work and fight and try to make it better. And we women, I think, are the ones that are most prepared to change this world. And now I'm open to all the questions that you have to.
Let me start with one, and then we'll open it up. One of the things that, as you were talking, the inspiration of your mother, who went to university, worked hard at university, got the degree, but what Trujillo did, and but she kept going. She didn't let it pull her down. Can you share some of that story?
What part do you want?
Well, just like, because I think in the book, about her going to university and wanting to go to university, and Trujillo basically saying he's going to close down the universities, and that she got the degree, she was summa cum laude, and then, was a living that, but she couldn't get the degree, it couldn't work.
She never surrendered. Never, as I told you. She said, well, if it kills me, I will be stronger. So she never gave up trying to get into the university. She insisted and went to the university. She got the highest rank, the highest degree. She got a summa cum laude. She was the best one in her class, but she was not recognized for it, because the authorities of the university had not the courage to write it down in a diploma. So the university had to make a new diploma 21 years after she had been murdered, stating that she owed this recognition as a summa cum laude student. And after that, the permission to ejercer, to practice the law, was denied by the dictator. So she never could work as a lawyer. She had to help my father, which was a lawyer too. So I found a lot of papers of my father, penal and civil papers as a lawyer, and they are full of notes of my mother. So it's clear that she worked, she helped him to write down these papers. But I like to hear you too. Don't be shy.
Yes.
Do you have any memories of your parents or your aunts from before?
I have very little memories. And I know, the worst? The worst is that I'm not sure that those memories that I think are my memories are real. I maybe incorporated them. Maybe I heard somebody talking about, and I think I remember, but I'm not sure. So I'm sure maybe I have this image of her walking through a long hall, through a long pasillo, aisle, walking. I have a memory of her. That is strong one. When she was, we were in Monte Cristi, the town where we lived, and the police of the regime came to take her to prison, and I was there, and I clearly I must have felt the fear in you know. So I started crying and grabbed her in you know, in the knees, and what I remember, and this is why I know I remember, because it hurt me. She put me away. Like, she said, "Shut up," and she told my grandmother to take me away, make her silent. Because, but now I understand that. I mean, she didn't want to be weak in front of this. And what she said was, she was wearing a dress, and she said, "One moment, I'm going to put a pant behind the dress, under the dress." So she put a pant. And that's the last image that I have, her with this dress and the pant under the dress. But you know, it was terrible for me. I was dolida. I had, it hurt. Yeah, because this I remember. But I have to thank many people, because I know my parents mostly by the testimonies of terceros. Third parties. Somebody I saw it.
What was it like being raised by your aunt after your
It was great, because I called her Mama, because she was in fact my mother. She raised me after I was 4, and not only me, but all her nephews and nieces. And she was an extraordinary person, and she took after us, or looked after us. I mean, she had 3 sons of her own, and I never felt the difference. In fact, their own sons all the times were complaining that she preferred Jackie, Maria Teresa's daughter, and me than them. So maybe it was true. Because she always wanted to have a girl, and she had 3 sons, and then she got us. So she was really happy. And we were the ones with her at the hospital, we traveled with her, we were her dearest.
Other questions? Yes, Wendy, you had a question?
That was the question.
Oh, that was the question? Okay.
And-
Other questions? Yes.
I was wondering, like, when did you realize how big of an impact that your mom and your aunt had?
I'm sorry.
When did you realize how big of an impact that your mom and your aunts had on the country?
Well, that was something that went going on. Like, it was not an And it really didn't happen like that, you know. Like, I remember the first years when we, every November 25th that we celebrated in the church, the Mass, and we went to the cemetery. And many of those years they throw bombs, ¿cómo que se llaman? Bombas lacrimógenas, and they were even shots and all that. So it was because many people came to protest against the regime that continued on after Trujillo's death. And so it was repressed. And after 1975, maybe, when the International Day of Women was declared by the International Year of Women was 1975, and they declared officially the International Day of Women, and then it started a movement. And in 1981, a group of feminists in Latin America declared the day in Latin America as the International Day against the violence against women. And so it started, and then the history spread all around the world. And greatly because of the book of Julia Alvarez, because this book has been translated to around 30 different languages or so, and there are movies, and everywhere they gather the 25th of November to make awareness of what's happening in our societies. And so anyway, I always knew I was part of a very important history of my country and of Latin America, and especially of women.
Yeah.
I think she was, and then you.
I was wondering if you had...
Say loud,
Okay.
because they have to.
Sorry. I was wondering if you had any like specific memory of that Dede would like tell you something often, like about like your mother or about just a lesson or something.
Oh. Well, the problem with Dede is that you can never stop her from talking. Everything she's, you know, we were going through a small path or un camino, and she said, "Oh, that tree! Minerva loved that tree." Once she had an extraordinary memory, and after she was old, then she started remembering things that she had forgotten before, or she had never told us. The book, there is an autobiographic book of her. It's Vivas en su jardín. They are alive in their garden, or they live in their garden.
Live in their garden.
So this book was. We decided that we had to put together these memories that, and we recorded her. We wrote down like 70 or 80 different questions and put her talking, which was very easy thing to do. And and then when we transcript it, it had over 800 pages. So the difficult thing for me to do was put it into 300 pages. And this is what I did with her memories. I tried to resumirlas, to summarize, yes. But she was really a very, very good talker. And she was a very good, because she was so vivid. Like, you know, she always told the colors of everything. She loved everything. This is a story, or this is a history of love, mostly. When you see all, you see what was behind, everything was that love.
Compared to the past, do you think that something is really significant, like in your country now compared to the past, like changes? Because I'm from China. China is really huge difference between past and now the women's state. So I was really wondering, what's your country's like the significant changes on the women's state? Like, still that something like happened for like violence to the woman?
Well, it's an important and difficult question at the same time, because thank you. Okay, thank you. Because it's evident that they are changes. Like, we can talk about this, and as I said at the beginning, nobody dares to deny what we are talking about, or to deny the rights of women and all that. But they have this politically correct attitude. You know, everybody talks about it because they think they have to. No way not to recognize, especially after the Me Too. But in fact, they question it. You feel it even in the way they talk about, you know, and you still find these people that ask you, aren't you satisfied? Where do you think you're going to get with these demands and all that? What do you want? Aren't you satisfied? You have gotten a lot. Well, we are going to be satisfied when equality becomes a reality, not a goal as it is right now. I think we will be satisfied, and we will talk about justice, fairness, when we live in a world where this day looks like odd. International Women's Day? It would sound off if we talk about International Men's Day. So I hope and I fight for a world where the International Women's Day sounds odd, because all the rights are going to be granted. It's clearly not the same. I mean, we're talking about this, and everybody's talking about this in the Dominican Republic, probably not exactly with my words, but talking about this. And it was not non-imaginable in the time of my mother. It was a danger to do it. It was dangerous to do it. So it has changed. Probably when, ¿cómo es que se llama? El Bernstein, el director, el que abusaba de todas las mujeres.
Oh, Harvey Weinstein.
He did this acoso, this abuse for years. And no one had the courage to say it. Why? Because they were cowards? Do you think nobody said that because everybody was a coward? Every girl that he caused abuse of? No, because it wasn't possible. Because you say that if you did, you were going to be accused of liar, or so you had to say it. Do you know what happened? This happened to me. Everybody knew, but nobody had the to say it publicly, because you feel ashamed. When this happens to you, you feel ashamed. Well, this is a change. This is an important change, that we are able to say, no more. You have to respect me. You have to treat me like a human being, like an equal human being. And that's a change. And it's happening everywhere in the whole planet. And that's important.
In the book, it said that you try to like contact like your mother and your aunts through like the medium Fila. Is that true?
No, it's not. No, it happens, you know. Not that I have gone to, but our people is very superstitious. There are a lot of superstitions around everywhere. You play the lottery because some kind of superstition, like, you know, I'm going to be lucky and I'm going to win and I'm going to be rich. Or you have to believe in something like, and there are a lot of people there. I've been to places where they have this altar, altar with the pictures of my mother and my aunts, and they say, for instance, that, you know, Minerva gives me the numbers that are going to to be the winners in the lottery next Sunday or tomorrow. So, do you understand what I say? Yeah. So, or she saved me from some. She helped me with. So, it's also very, very common that you go through the streets and see in front of the houses 3 butterflies in the houses. It's very, very common in many houses in the Dominican Republic. And I told that to Julia Alvarez. I told her that like something that happened, but then she decided that in the character of Minou in the book, she was going to be looking for a way to communicate with my mother. So this is why I didn't like it at all, because I am some kind of a contrary of that. In fact, I am really very, very realistic person. So I don't believe very much in these kind of things, but I wish I had the possibility. But then I had the possibility to know a little bit my mother, to find her in the way Julia Alvarez tells that I'm looking for her in the book. And it was through the letters of her, love letters that she exchanged with my father when they were tenían amores.
Prison.
When they were courting? Or no? They were already. ¿Cómo que se dice comprometidos? Engaged. Yeah, that's it. When they were engaged, and it wasn't never easy for my mother. Now that I see it, it was never easy for her, and it was really difficult for this love of them. They had to superar, to overcome a lot of distance, a lot of persecution. They had to be careful because they couldn't say what they felt or what they were doing in the letters, because they knew that all the letters were being read by the spies of the dictatorship. So the letters you can see are written very, very carefully. They suggest, sometimes they suggest but don't say what's happening. So I made through this study of what was happening, and I found the letters, and for the first time I knew my mother by herself, by her own voice. And don't tell anybody, but I'm telling you. You know what I felt? I felt, oh, poor my dad. I don't know how he managed to survive, because she was always, you know, telling me, you have to do this, you have to study, you have to read this, you have to go and present that examination. All the time she was fighting with him, and he was so kind and so, you know, love. But then you can see the evolution of this relationship in the letters. It's very interesting. You know, they start very, very formal letters, and especially hers.
Yeah, there's this book that Minou is
talking about.
This is actually, it's written in Spanish right now, but hopefully it's going to be coming in English. And I just want to, as you're talking about the letters, this is in the book, and this is an example.
The book has letters when they were engaged, and then when they were both in prison. So this one is written in the jail. So it was part of a toothpaste, medical toothpaste, and colsim, and then she used the paper to write a letter to him, and they had to pay to the guards, you know, take this money and give this letter to go to the other side of the prison where the men are, and that was it.
And then there's this one. This is an amazing book. I'm like, wow. And you know, we don't see letters like this anymore, right? I mean, people do text messages or whatever, right? Or Facebook or what? Email, yeah. But I mean, here's a letter, you know, that's just amazing, and you really get that sense of what was going on. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
What is the book called?
The book is
In English? Could you just
that's good, because I've been having some misunderstandings with the writer, with the translator of the book, because the book is called in Spanish Mañana te escribiré otra vez, which means I will write to you tomorrow. And I took the title of the book of the letters, because they are all the time saying, you know, like a promise, written, as I say in the book, written in rock, in piedra, in stone, you know, like a conjuro. How do you say conjuro?
Well, I mean, like a
Talking about being superstitious.
like an accord, I mean, a strong agreement, a strong
It's like a strong
pact. It's like a pact.
Like it's like a pact. Yeah, that's it. So it's all the time in the letters. I don't think there is a letter where they don't promise to each other that they are going to be writing tomorrow. So that's why I decided to use that, and it's written. I mean, it's now these are Minerva's handwriting. So this is part of one letter. So her. So, but the translator says that it doesn't have.
I think it's lovely. I keep it.
She doesn't like in English. She says that the readers are not going to feel the strong meaning it has in Spanish. So she proposed me something like a journey through. I don't remember.
Keep the title.
But I think I have convinced her.
Yeah.
Because
That's everybody right.
a daughter's journey, something like a daughter's journey or something like that. She wants to. ¿Cómo es que se llama? Oh, the name of the guy that is filming this? John. I'm sorry, but this part you shouldn't put it in the network. No, because she's done a great job, very love. I mean, it's extraordinary, and I don't want her to see this in a, you know, like it's una indiscreción from me.
yeah, maybe a sign of disrespect, perhaps.
No, I'm not disrespecting her.
No.
But I even proposed her to discuss this with the publisher.
Yeah.
But it's, and I believe she knows much more than me what works in English.
Keep the title.
Yeah, it should be tomorrow. I'll write you again.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll write.
I'll write you again.
This is what I think she's gonna come with something like that. So I don't think they are going to make a book like that. There is another version of the book with the box, and it's not a hardcore. It's a version that has been published in Spanish, cheaper, because this costs a lot to make it.
It's coming out soon.
No, it's.
And I mean, English.
I don't know, because here things are difficult, but it's finished. It's already in the press. I don't know. So anyway, I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
So if you could just say a few words about how you put it together and how the actors all came together, I think that would be helpful.
Enrique, come on up here. Well, we found this book through the National Endowment for the Arts Big Read, and I was looking at this, and I thought, and I found this about 2 years ago, and I thought, well, this is an amazing story. And I read the book, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a story that really needs to be read. And what we do at Prime Stage is we take literature that's in the curriculum, that's on reading lists, but also things that are really relevant and things that are important to young people, to educators, to everybody, and we bring those things to life. That's really what we do. So when I found this book, and then I found the script, and it's like, I wonder if there's a script of it out there. Well, then I found that there was an English version, English translation that came out. And so what I did is I immediately contacted Enrique, because I've known Enrique for a number of years. and I contacted Enrique and I said, okay, two things. I want you to read the script. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are on the script, okay? And the other thing I need to know, if we're going to do this production, I need to know, is there a body of Latin actors? Because I will only do this show if we have Latin actors. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to cast outside. They have to be done with Latin actors. And I said, I don't know what's out there, and I need to know, can it be done? And I took it to you, and
Yeah, Wayne, that was 2 years ago, and Wayne was nice enough to share it with me, and I told him, yeah, you know what, we do have enough Latin talent, ladies, guys, that can be in this production. In Pittsburgh, there's not that many Latinos. We're not bombarded with Latinos. I mean, the population is very small even today. But
Rarely small.
yeah, we had the auditions, and we were very fortunate. We have two Dominican actresses in the show. We have a Venezuelan actress. We have a Mexican actor, another Mexican actress, and we have a Puerto Rican actress. And there's one American female actress in the show as well. But we found them, and I think it's going to be a Pittsburgh premiere, so you all know. It's the first time this is presented in Pittsburgh. I play the part of Trujillo. So this is Trujillo. This is Enrique. That's why.
Big difference.
But no, ladies. It was very important for us to tell. He told me, I want to tell the story the right way. I do not want to offend any Hispanics or Latinos, Latinas in the community. I do not want that. So I think we have achieved a really wonderful production. You ladies are here, you're presenting performances here. I used to go to Central Catholic. I'm here to do shows with you guys. Well, you guys should go over there and do shows with us. But we are very excited about the production. We really hope you can make it. Just so you know, John wanted me to let you know that this video, parts of this whole presentation here at Oakland Catholic is going to be on our Prime Stage YouTube video today. But we do have, we want you to come and see the show. We bring Minou here to you so that you guys can have a real direct contact with the historical aspect of what the Mirabal sisters went through, but also look ahead to the future and do your own parts in fighting for your rights, in standing up for what you believe is right, what should be right, and respected by everybody, no matter what country, no matter what day, no matter what month. That's why she's here. We want you to feel the importance of her family's history and the responsibility that you ladies have in your own lives as you proceed into your universities, careers, into your futures. So please come and see us. And the ladies in the show, the Mirabal sisters, are fantastic. I'm only in 3 scenes. The focus of the play is really not the men in this show. There's only 2 male actors. And Victor is also Puerto Rican. But it's really the women. And so please come and see it and enjoy it and share it with your families and friends.
Bring tissues.
Yeah, it's a very powerful show. For me, in my role, it's very painful to do the things I have to do on stage with Minerva, with her mom, played by an actress called Evelyn Hernandez. She's wonderful. It's not easy, it's not fun, but it's part of the story, it's part of the history. So please come and see it. I hope you really enjoy it. Right.
So by doing this, the literature really is coming to life, and the history is coming to life. And as you're reading books, now you have a person to put with it, and I think that's extremely important. So thank you. And I will say, after
I want a picture.
Yeah.
That was the next thing I was going to say.
We're
You
gonna
beat
do
me
that.
to it.
And doesn't she have this? Isn't the spirit of Minerva that lives?